Hi, this is Champlet 2 on the PlayStation Network. This video will review the purchase options of the Gunrunning bunkers in the Gunrunning DLC, and I'll take you on a little tour of the bunker to help you decide which options you want to buy. Here you see the Maze Bank foreclosure site filtered down to the bunker locations. I'll show you more about the pros and cons of the locations in another video. Next, we'll start to look at the purchase option screens. There are 3 bunker style options, either the natural stone or blue or yellow paint, and they're really just a matter of preference. I'll show you a little bit more about these later in the tour. Now, if you want to use your bunker as a spawn location, you will need to purchase these personal quarters. There are 2 options for the shooting range. You can either get black or white, and that's just a matter of which one you see better. I'll show you more about these later in the video. Buying the shooting range unlocks the ability to pick up some weapon refills in your bunker after the completion of some of the shooting range challenges. If you already have a gun locker in your executive office, buying one here will only give you another location to alter your weapon wheel, and it actually does reset any preferences you've already set up. If you don't change your weapon wheel that often, you might not need it here. Also, depending on the options you choose for your mobile operations center, it might have a gun locker too, so this one would not really be useful. Now, these 2 little golf carts are handy for getting around the bunker a little more quickly. The smaller Caddy 1 is more nimble and much easier to maneuver in the bunker than the larger and more expensive Caddy 2. I couldn't step on the back of the Caddy 2, so I'm assuming they're both 2-seaters and they drive at about the same speed. With the options I just chose here, I spent roughly about an extra $1.5 million. So here we go on the tour. This isn't actually the one I just bought in those videos. That was the Paleto Bay. This is the one at the farmhouse, the most expensive one. The interior of these is all exactly the same. The layout is exactly the same no matter where you buy it. So when you first come in the main entrance, you'll see the truck bay up ahead of you where your mobile operations center is. To the right is the hallway that goes down to the gun locker, and back behind you on the right is the hallway to your operations and accommodations. So this is where your mobile operations vehicle is stored. Mobile operations center, I should say, your big old truck. So I'm going to go down this little hall here and show you there's nothing really back here. But you can turn to the right. If you look to the right here, you'll see that's where you came in. You see the other little golf carts. And they all work, not just one. So I'm going to drive back this hallway a little bit. To the right here, you'll notice the painted walls. I chose the yellow one for this tour so you could see there's only one little section that gets painted when you choose those style options. Now here's a couple of weapons as we get back towards the shooting range that you can't pick these up for refills until you complete some of the challenges in the shooting range. So if you don't have the shooting range, these weapon refills will not be available to you except for this one here, which is the Molotov. That one doesn't require any challenges. So there's the hall we just came in, and if you go to the right here, that will take you into another doorway into your operations and accommodations section. You see there the yellow paint, but we're going to come back to that in just a minute. I'm going to show you the shooting range first. So you have the 2 style options that you can choose from for the shooting range. There's white and black. I'm going to show you maybe 10 seconds of each so you can decide which one you like. These are the white targets. Yes, I know I'm a lousy shot. You don't need to tease me. I'm just showing you the targets. And then here's the black ones. So you can decide which one you can see better and which you prefer. Okay, now back to our regularly scheduled tour of the bunker. I'm gonna come back here to my little golf cart. Oh, and I did check, I think there's maybe 2 of these vault looking doors in the bunker. They don't do anything. You can't get in them, you can't open them, they're just there. You'll find a couple of soda machines, good for refilling your health in a hurry for just $1. Okay, so I'm going to go down this little short hallway here. I kind of backed out a little bit to, this was the one we came in originally. There you can see the yellow paint, that lets you know that's going to open you up to the operations and accommodations area. But I'm going to take you back out here to the main hall to help you get a little more oriented where we are. So I'm going to go back now. There's the operations and accommodations again. You can see the paint. It's in there, but I'm going to show you first the storage area. So once you start doing the business in here, this is where everything is going to get stored. Presumably it will begin to fill up. I haven't done any of the business activities yet at the time I recorded this video. Just taking you around so you can see how big this is. Now we're actually going to go into the operations and accommodations part of the bunker. I'm going to come around here to the left entrance so we don't miss any of it. You'll see a lot of equipment, benches and that sort of thing in here. I would assume much like the motorcycle club businesses, you'll see people here working. You can't do anything at any of these stations, but I'm going to walk up to them anyway just to check them out, make sure I'm not missing anything. Kind of show you what's laying around. These all look the same. I'll show you later where there's the blue style option and the gray option that basically is just stone and doesn't have any paint. I'll show you those as well. It all looks exactly the same. The only difference here in the yellow one is it's a little bit brighter, obviously because of the paint. You'll see some little white, I don't know, ceiling tiles in a couple of places, like over here on the left. Those only exist in the yellow option. They're just kind of interesting, nothing really functional. And you'll also see in the yellow option there are some potted plants here and there. Just a couple, and that's it. Now there's your conference room. You've got a whiteboard and a table. And there's a couple of more stations over here where your people will be working. You as the owner can't operate these particular computers. That's in your office area. I'll show you that in just a second. You'll notice as I'm walking around there's lots of little hallways and stuff, different ways to get into this particular section. It can be very confusing, so you might want to try to look at your mini map to keep oriented. There's one of those potted plants I told you about. The main thing you need to remember, there's some more soda machines over there. They're right next to your operations and accommodations, which is your office up there on those stairs. You'll see there's 2 sets of stairs on either side of it. So I'm going to come around this side. There we go. There's the stairs. So that those 2 soda machines will help you find this if you're, a little lost. You can't jump over that bar. I actually tried. But here we are. There's your computer. And you can log in. You can do your CEO operations from here too, which is pretty cool, or your motorcycle club. So it's nice to have just one. If you did get the accommodations, here they are. The color changes up there at the top. It's either yellow, blue, or gray, depending on which style option you chose. And you do have a closet there, and you do have a bed. And if you purchased the gun locker, it would be right here. I chose not to because I already have it at my executive office. If you get a little lost when you're running around in this bunker and you're trying to find your office, just remember, look for those handrails because it's up here on this raised platform, and that's me trying to jump over the rails and it doesn't work. It's much like your vehicle warehouse where you can't really jump on anything. That's pretty much the whole tour, but what I'm going to do next is show you a little bit of the color options so you can decide which style you like. This is it for style 3, the yellow paint. Here's a little bit of the blue so you can see it's a little bit darker in here, a little more subdued. Those little potted plants are not here. I guess it's a little more industrial looking, not quite as bright as the yellow. I'm going to take you up here. There's the gun locker. I had it for a little while when I was experimenting. Here's the accommodations. You can see it just instead of the yellow paint at the top, there's blue, but everything else looks the same. And here's a little bit of the natural color, and this is what I was referring to earlier. You see how since there's no paint in the accommodations and operations area, it doesn't stand out. It looks just like this storage area. It looks just gray. So it is kind of helpful to use either the blue or the yellow just so you can tell which direction you're going, because this place is so big and so many different hallways, it's easy to get lost. The paint does help, at least for that, but otherwise it's just totally a preference. Here again, there's the desk, there's the gun locker. There you go, and here's the, yeah. And again, as I mentioned earlier, if you already have a gun locker somewhere else, you may not need to have it here. You also have the option, there's the gray walls by the way, you also have the option in your mobile operations center, if you do a bay that has the weapons modifications in it, you can have a gun locker right there and you can change your loadout anytime you want. So that concludes our tour. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope it wasn't too confusing in this crazy underground maze. I'll be providing some more videos that have the pros and cons of the locations and a little bit more about the operations in terms of what you have to buy to get up and running. Hope you found this video helpful, and I really appreciate you visiting my channel. Hope to see you again sometime, and have a great time in Los Santos.